So hello and welcome to Limitless You Talk with me, Katie, and I'm very delighted, very excited to have Rachel Solway from Level Up, who's the founder of Level Up Coaching. I've got to know Rachel through the business mentorship from afar that we're both a part of for a time, and then we were both in the same coaching group. But earlier on this year, in April of 2024, I got very fortunate, to spend more intimate time with Rachel when we were on a retreat with about 10 others of us. And when you're spending 5 days living together, eating together, doing everything together, you get to know a person a little bit more. And the conversations that me and Rachel had were incredible. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to just chat all things about it and a little bit more. But before we go into that, for anyone listening, Rachel, who would you say Rachel is?
Do you know what? If you'd asked me that question a couple of years ago, I would have gone, Rachel is the founder of Level Up. She is a woman's body transformation coach, and I would have labeled myself as what my job is. Whereas now I am a businesswoman. I'm still going to use that.
Yeah, okay.
I'd probably say I'm a woman on a mission, right? I'm a woman that wants more from her life, that wants to keep going, that wants to keep being pushed to new limits, that wants to just take advantage of the life that we have and run with it. And if you want to know maybe a bit more about where I'm from and stuff, because I sound very different to you.
Yeah.
But I'm actually from Devon, so the total opposite end of the UK, the complete other side. I am 27 years old, and as Katie said, we met through a previous business mentorship. That's how our paths crossed, which is mad, isn't it? If you think back to
Yeah.
how you actually end up meeting people in life, like how if we hadn't joined that, we would have never met, because I then wouldn't have met Christian and signed up with him, and then we just wouldn't have crossed paths. So I guess straight away, for anyone listening to this, take a chance. Like you literally have no
Absolutely.
idea who you're going to meet
Mhm.
way.
In a positive way, positive and powerful way, because you can learn from one another. And well, as we tried to do on the retreat with you, we tried to teach you Scottish words, which was amazing. It was so
I don't
good.
understand.
Yeah, she still didn't understand, which was funny, but you had to be there, I think, to experience the what are you saying? What is your Scottish words that you're saying? But
It's when
yeah,
I have to go, guys, can you just repeat that? Like, can you slow down a bit? No
and it
idea what that
happened a lot. Yeah,
means. Yeah.
and I was doing a bit of like back then. I like the way how you said businesswoman. I think as a woman, like quite a few years ago, even we probably still wouldn't have been able to say that. Just thinking off the top of my head, like I've never thought about, oh, I'm a businesswoman. I'm like, oh, I've got a podcast. It sounds so sad, but it's true. That's, I think, as you've evolved in the last few years and even this year, you must feel really empowered just being able to say that.
Yeah, I do. And it's like you said, like that wouldn't have been words that would come out of my mouth and maybe your mouth as well a few years ago. But I think that's because like attitude and maturity changes over time, and you soon realize. So like us being coaches, like, you know, we come into that industry thinking that's what we are. Like we're a coach, and obviously we are a coach, but in order to have a successful coaching business that helps hundreds and hundreds of women, men, whoever it is you're targeting, you also have to be in charge of that as well. You have to be in control of it. And if you don't know how to run a business, you're never going to be that coach. You're never going to be, or whatever the industry is, the beauty therapist or masseuse or whatever you decide to do, you can't be that unless you actually know how to run a business. And yeah, it does make you feel powerful, doesn't it? It does make you think, oh, okay, I've got a bit of control, like not in a bad way, but like I know what I'm doing. And also when you act in that way, when you act like a businesswoman, when you act in a way that you want to succeed, that enables your business to grow more. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just doing this to coach a few people and just help a few people along the way and maybe change their lives, dibble in that, double in that. You know, it's actually, I'm serious about what I do. I've got so much passion and drive behind me to make sure that I'm going to be successful no matter what it is.
I've seen that firsthand. I have seen that firsthand. Now, I did snoop. I sound like a stalker every time I say this, or I've done a bit of background research. But I read a post on your Instagram, and I'm going to quote the words to you because I think where you were to where you are now. So it's a post from, I think it was earlier on this year, because it's a picture of us in the retreat. That sounds very stalkerish. Oh dear.
It's not,
It was talking about, I'm assuming it was talking about you, the girl who quit the industry in 2018. Right? But I'm going to read it back to you what you actually said in that post. Didn't believe it was possible to grow a successful business and help women all over the world. That was what you quoted in that post. But all I wrote down about that was, what changed?
What a question. What changed? Me. I changed like everything in terms of how I show up, my confidence, who I am. Like when I say I invested, I don't just mean financially. I mean, I've invested so much time into myself. Like I couldn't actually tell you how much. And I think when you invest that time into yourself, when you surround yourself by people that are doing better than you, well, the people that inspire you, the people that motivate you, you step into that, you start to pick up on things that they do. So if I hadn't done that, and I'll continue to do it, but if that's not something I do, then how can I expect clients coming on board with me to do that? How can I expect anyone to listen to what I'm saying if I'm not willing to practice what I preach? So that girl that like left the industry in 2018, there is no way in hell, if I'd said to her that moment when she fully left, if I'd gone, well, don't worry, because in 3 years' time you'll be rejoining, and then in how many years is that? Hard maths, 6 years' time, you're going to have a global insane business that transforms the lives of hundreds of women every single year. I would have told her to do one because I wouldn't have thought it was possible. Like I was such a different person then. And if anyone can take anything away from that, let it be this. Like you have the power to control and change anything at any given moment in your life. Life is going to throw stuff at you. You're not going to end up on the path that you once thought you would, but that's down to you. And yes, there might be external factors that affect it, but control what you can and you will get the outcome that you want. So had I not had that realization, and I think that's just a constant realization that you get every single day, but had I not thrown myself in the deep end, started to, listen to podcasts, listen to or read books and do these things that still a lot of people see as a taboo and like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, why don't you just listen to some, I don't know, R&B or something?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you do that? That's your choice if you want to do that. But if you want to change, like put the work in to change. And that's exactly what I did.
Because of that, my next sort of thought was, that's got to be how Rachel is as the founder and as the head coach, head everything of Level Up and helping women to transform. And your kind of mantra is like really good. And I wrote down, like, why do you think it's then important, as you realised you were able to change, you invest, as you said, invested so much in yourself, and now Level Up is helping women feel incredible and unlock new levels of confidence. Was that important for you as you've grown in the last 6-7 years, that you instill for anyone that comes into Level Up?
Yeah, definitely, because that's been what's happened to me. Like I can sit here and say I feel incredible. I've got new levels of confidence. Like every day I'm getting more and more confident with what I'm doing. And again, like probably a misconception that people have is that confidence is just how you feel in your clothes. But like confidence isn't, because there's no way Rachel in 2018 would have sat here right now on this podcast, or she might have done, but I might have been quite timid. I wouldn't have the confidence as such to be saying these things with conviction. And yeah, that's the transformation that I've been on. So I know how much that's impacted my life. And if I can do that for myself, then I know for a fact, and I have done and will continue to do that for other people. And it's not just about getting these people to feel great in a sports bra and leggings in the gym. This is about, you know, what does confidence give you as a byproduct? Well, it might be that you then have more confidence to go for a job opportunity that you wouldn't have done beforehand. It might be that you're actually more confident around your partner. It might be that you're actually single. You've not gone on any dates because you've lacked confidence, but now you have the confidence, you're going to go out there and meet potentially the love of your life. Like, it opens up so many avenues and opportunities that people just don't realize. People are so fixated on how they look in the mirror, which obviously is so important, and don't get me wrong, that's a massive part of it, but think about like what's going to happen after that. Like, what can you actually go on to achieve that you are currently holding yourself back from? And that was me. Like, in when I joined the industry in 2017, and for those 18 months before I left, I had no confidence. I wasn't training. I was the biggest fraud ever. Like, I was telling people, go and eat this and do that. But then I'd go off with my, friends or boyfriend at the time or whatever and have like a takeaway and stuff. And
Yeah.
that's me saying it's bad, but I was not practicing what I was preaching. And then no wonder I wanted to leave, because I didn't have a business, because I wasn't doing what I needed to do. So I know, going back to the point, like I've changed my life because I feel incredible now. I've unlocked all of these different avenues that from the confidence I've now gained. So I want to make sure that we have the impact and can help hundreds and hundreds of women to do the same.
And because of that, working with various types of women, with, like, as a fellow woman, like the insecurities that we have, it seems like 10 times the insecurities of other people. What is working with those and working with currently various women taught you?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Taught me a lot. It's taught me the obvious, which is everyone's different.
Yeah.
And again, like when I was in the industry before, it was a case of one plan, one size fits all. It doesn't. But it's also taught me that women need some tough love sometimes. And I do think that when things have been sugar coated too much for people, having that person that can come into their life and hold the mirror up in a kind way. I'm not a bitch. I'm not horrible to people.
She's
But
not, I promise
yeah,
she's not.
I'm not. Hold it up in a kind way where, like, we want them to improve. Like, I want someone to turn around to me and go, I've never felt this good in my life. Like, my whole life has changed. And I know now what it takes to get there. And it is the uncomfortable conversations. It is holding the mirror up when people don't want it to be. It is getting people to become more self-aware and take more self-responsibility for where they're at. And I think these things are bypassed quite easily in the industry. Like, a lot of my content, a lot of the stuff we educate our clients on is, the training plan will get you so far, the nutrition guidelines will get you so far, but if you don't control what's going on in your head, you're not getting anywhere, and you're not going to change your life. So unless we help women to do that, and we're constantly learning as well, because we'll have someone come in that is totally different to anyone we've ever worked with before, and we have to learn what's the best approach for them. So whilst I'm sat here going, hold the mirror up, get them to take self-responsibility, like, some people it doesn't work with as such, but there has to be ways around that we get them to do that. Because if someone is not self-aware, if someone does not take self-responsibility for how they feel right now, for where they're at right now and what they do moving forwards, they will never ever get the results they want. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm. I would, yeah. And I think, as you say, it's bypassed a lot of the things. But if we don't hold up that mirror, sometimes the tough love will never. It's kind of like, I always remember Christian saying to me, someone has to stand in front of the mirror and really look at themselves and go, is this who I want to be? I think you're right about getting in your head and asking yourself the right questions. And it comes on nice because we shared a really, really amazing conversation when we were away, and I shared how I don't really turn up for myself. And I was very honest about it. I don't really make an effort. You know, should I be making more of an effort? My mum says that to me, you know, like, we should have a really good conversation. And you put your coach's hat on at the time, and we were sitting at lunch, and we'd been for a training session. It was the first time I'd worn just a sports brand shorts in the gym. And I was around all you, and I was feeling very like, I was doing the usual women thing, insecure and things like that. But no one cared, if you know what I mean. No one cared. It was just a normal fit. We were just all together. We were getting to train together. It was a tough session. It was a stinking gym. It was quite smelly. But for anyone wanting to turn up for themselves, make more of an effort, what advice and guidance could you give to the likes of how you helped me, but to anyone else and any other women listening, of how that could be achieved?
I remember our conversation really well. I did wonder if you were going to touch on this. I really remember it. I think as a whole, like, this is going to be different to everyone. And I'm always really cautious when I say this is going to be different to everyone, because I also know some people sat there and go, oh, well, she's not talking about me, so I won't, listen to that advice. But, generally speaking, take what you will from what I'm about to say. If you don't do it now, when are you ever going to do it? If you don't change, if you don't make a step in the direction that's going to serve you, you have no right to sit there and complain and moan about how you feel. And again, that comes down to the self-responsibility. And I know some people listen to that and go, well, Rach, you don't know what cards I've been dealt. I don't know what cards you've been dealt. What I know is you've still got the same opportunity moving forwards to change. And if you continue to hold on to the things that have put you in the situation you don't want to be, whether it's your fault or not, I don't know. But if you hold on to those things, you will never get to where you want to be. You are always, always, always going to stay in this place, this quote unquote victim mentality. And you'll just live this life, like going through life thinking, oh, well, what if it's all right for her, she's got this, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not all right for anyone. No one knows what people have been dealt, but what you can control and what you can do is how you move forward from it. And that is down to you. Everyone has got control. Like, if you're listening to this right now, surely that's a positive thing, because you want to actually make a change. Like, there's a reason you're listening to this podcast. So don't let it be a thing where you just listen to a podcast and do absolutely nothing about it. Listening is one thing, implementation is the most important thing. And that's where so many people fall short, because they think, oh, it's fine, it's gone in my head, but it's what you do about the information going in your head that matters. So do something about it. Like, as harsh as that is, and I'm actually known for being probably the harsh one, like, out of the coaches, it's me that's like, right, if you get a message from Rach, it's going to be like straight to the point. But it's the truth, right? Because we could pussyfoot around it and go, oh, well, it's okay, do it when you feel like it. But the bottom line is, it's not okay to just do it when you feel like it, because if you just do it when you feel like it, you will never get to where you want to be, because the chances are you only do what you need to do 50% of the time, and we know that 50% of the time isn't going to get us results. We need to be, give or take, all in. We need to just decide, right, I'm going to make a change. And that doesn't mean I need to spend 6 hours a day in the gym, or like meal prepping and living out of Tupperware every single day. What it means is you're prepared to do the work required to get to where you want to be. And that's different for everyone. So if you feel stuck, do something about it.
Love that. Straight to the point. And we had such a lengthy conversation, and we went through the motions, and we talked it out. And since then, I came home from the retreat, and I had 2 charity events that I made sure full effort was made. Even went and got the makeup done and everything. I made a decision. Yeah, I made a decision about where I was in terms of professional life and coaching, and I made a pivot. I made a change, a big change. It's been the best change I've ever done. And then coming on to do the podcast, booking all these half marathons, going to Jersey, for example, actually prepping my clothes before I went, like actually think, oh, that's an outfit for that day, and turning up for myself every day. And it's so easy. And because I was listening to myself, how pathetic I sounded, that listening to the podcast, but not actually taking action. But because I took action, it's been such a difference, been such more of a benefit, and you just continue to grow. So I think for anyone listening, just do it, please, because you're going to you're going to make such a difference for yourself, and then that allows you to be in environments, or like be in the rooms that we were in the retreat, or in the room with so many other coaches in a business mentorship. Your place is in that room, no matter what you've, as Christine said, on the retreat, you have to earn your own stripes. And it's so true. But like many of us, many women, you know, we've all experienced the highs and lows. And again, we shared that on the retreat. But what have you learned and your biggest takeaways from anything that you've gone through in life?
So actually more so recently, this year, 2024, like something happened in my life, and it was the first moment. For those of you that know me, or if you've seen me on social media, you will know, as I've probably alluded to already on this episode, I am like all in, go for it. Like, you need to do the bloody work. If you want to get somewhere, show up, right? Show up regardless. But something happened, and that was the first moment where I thought, I can't show up. Like, it was the first moment where I actually had to take a massive step back from what I was doing. And at the time, it was actually Heather, who's one of our coaches on Level Up, and then Nat, who does a lot of the behind the scenes stuff on Level Up. And Nat's actually my best friend. They both turned around to me and said, you need to take time off work. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, no, I don't. Like, no, there's got to be another way around this. I can't, that's not going to happen. And it wasn't a case of, I thought Level Up was going to fall to pieces, because I have those two and I'm very blessed and they are incredible at what they do. But it was more so that Level Up had become my identity. And without that, I thought, oh my God, like, what do I actually do? Or who am I? Or what is Rachel?
Wow.
But having that time off was a blessing in disguise, because again, not only did I realize I don't actually need to be, 24/7 Level Up, because the girls can handle it and everything is absolutely fine. But more importantly, it just allowed me to like sit back, reflect, deal with other stuff in my life, and realize that actually Rachel's always more than Level Up. Like, Level Up is just a byproduct of who I am and what I've created. And that's not just me that's created that. That is Heather, that's Nat, that's Abby, that's all of the women that we've ever coached. It's all of the women we're currently coaching, and it's the women that we're going to coach. Like, Level Up is not me. And that was a massive, massive realization, along with the fact that it's okay to have time off.
Yeah.
I can chill, and sometimes more important things happen. Like, I didn't even train for 2-3 weeks, mate, or I think I did like one session. It was, not great. I was just in a rubbish place. And like, again, this comes back to what we've already spoke about. I could sit there and go, well, this happened to me, and I'm a victim mentality, and why me? That's not fair. And don't get me wrong, there were times where that thought process creeped in, but actually it soon became, okay, that's happened, I can't control it, what am I going to do about it? Like, am I really going to let something else dictate the trajectory of my life? Absolutely not. No way, shape or form. So yeah, the lessons there, and maybe anyone else that's going through something like similar, or anything in their life right now, like, life does get better, but it only gets better if you decide it's going to get better. If you sit there and think, oh, well, I'm just going to hope that things work out for me, like, just keep hoping. If you actually want to make a change, as I've said, you can change anything in any given moment. That's down to you. And that was a choice that I made, and it's paid off massively.
Yeah, you've recently moved into your own house. Just amazing. And then going back to the question that I asked for at the start of who is Rachel, let me rephrase that now that you've shared that. Who is Rachel Solway? Without Level Up, who are you away from that, now that you've had some realisation? Who are you outside it?
I'm actually quite a crazy person. I think you guys realised that on the retreat as well.
I did when every pick and mix shop that we were near, Rachel was away into it. we didn't miss one.
I know that was so good. Car. I'd fly back actually just to go to
just
that.
to get pick and mix. Yeah, I would as well. Yeah.
But yeah, like who am I? Like I just love to have a laugh. Like I'm quite spontaneous. My friends will tell you I'm the most chilled out person ever. Like it's actually quite scary how chilled out I am about stuff. Unless then I get business mode on and I'm like,
yeah,
stuff has to be done.
yeah.
But generally speaking, I'm so chilled out, and I'm just like a take life as it comes. Like enjoy it, be present in the moment. Be a nice person. Like that's a massive thing for me. Don't be a dick, right? Don't need to be a dick. Everyone's here for a reason to live their life, enjoy your life, and just make the absolute most out of it. So whilst level up's not my identity, level up's the thing I've chosen to make sure I get the most out of my life.
Yeah, I think that's amazing how you put that. And everyone that comes on the podcast, I always finish with asking the same question: what's your superpower?
Wow. What is my superpower? I would say my superpower, and again, I do think my closest friends would agree with me. My superpower is my relentlessness and drive to keep going no matter what. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it stems from, because I'm not going to sit here and go, I've had an awful life. I have not had an awful life. I am so blessed. I have the best family ever. I had an amazing upbringing. I've got the best friends. Yes, okay, like some shit things might have happened, but it's, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm really lucky, really, really lucky. And despite like all of that being really lucky, I still have this want and desire in me to keep pushing for more and to help more and more people and to make a bigger impact. And I actually recorded a podcast for my podcast the other day, and I said it on there. Like someone asked me why level up, like what's the whole reason behind it, and it's a case of, while I'm here to make an impact. And I don't know what it is I have inside of me, but I just know I have something in me that needs to help as many women as possible. And it's really hard to explain. And I wish someone could come into my head and just like hear my thoughts. But I could sit here and go, do you know what? I've done a bloody good job, right? For the past few years, I've helped hundreds of women, but I'm like, that's not enough for me, because I see so many people suffering, so many people unhappy, unconfident, not living life to the full. And I'm like, why? Like if I can help 100 people, I can help 1,000 people, I can help 10,000 people. And that drive and that relentlessness to do that, I don't know where it comes from. Like being honest, I've got 3 girls that work for me on Level Up. I don't have to get up at 5 a.m. and start working every day. I don't have to do the things that I do in Level Up, because I could get them to do it, right? That is the bottom line.
Yeah.
I want to do it. Like I want to make this impact. I want to keep pushing. I want someone to turn around and go, like we obviously get girls say this to us, but I want people to turn around and go, you've changed my life. And it's not because I want to sit here and go, oh, I'm the girl that's changed everyone's life. It's because I want those people whose lives have changed to experience the same impact that happened to me when I changed my life.
I think that's a really unique superpower, and the way that you've put that is so powerful, so empowering. And I've seen firsthand and got to share conversations with you where you're sharing the impact that you've had and the impact that you'll have in the future is just, it's just, you're going to keep getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, like even when you don't want to. Love that. Love that.
Thank you.
Now, before I let you go, do you remember any of our Scottish words that we taught you?
That's all I remember. Right? That's because I've been out of the Scottish loop for a few months, but I'm back in it now, so I'm sure there'll be some more.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you back in the coaching programme, back, you know, with us. I think we all missed you and we missed that little group. That'll certainly, you know, the Malaga group will never, it'll always be that bond. No one else will get it. But thank you very much for sharing this conversation with me. I've been so excited to do it, and I'll tag all your socials even if I can get my words out. For anyone that please go and follow Rachel. Get in touch with it. Like, it's just an amazing opportunity. If you feel that you're unconfident or you're in a place, just go and get a coach. Thanks, Rachel.